Repeat after me. Love.
Love.
Courage.
Courage.
Honesty.
Honesty.
Truth.
Truth.
Respect.
Respect.
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Humility.
Humility.
Those are the 7 teachings that you should be living your life under. Are love, courage, honesty, truth, respect, wisdom, and humility. Remember that each and every day. If you have to look in the mirror to remind yourself of that, do it. It will only build your courage, your confidence to take on the storm with a smile, because when we remain calm, we can conquer anything. Warm round of applause for Will.i.am.
Woo! Right on, Bill. Woo!
Hello, everybody. I've got 5 minutes to try and tell you 5 hours worth of information. So as Sharon was talking about notice of liability, that is a tool. That is an instrument that the law uses. But we have to understand one thing of law. In this country, in this world, in this global setting, we do not have common law. You cannot go into a court with common law and win. They don't address that jurisdiction. Common law is gone. It's there on a shelf. But the avenue that we have to pursue is the avenue of commerce. That is admiralty law, commercial law, merchant law. We can join the two together to try and come to a solution. So the notice of liability, or a NOL, is a process of law in the commercial realm. And what you have to understand, in the commercial realm, everything is money. That's the bottom line. You get a ticket, it's money. You pay it, it's money. That's remedy. And in the law itself, there's a thing called remedy. There's always a remedy to the action. It's just that we don't know the remedy. And what are we told when we get a ticket, or there's something that we have to go? We hire a lawyer. Well, a lawyer is in that jurisdiction. So when you go in that jurisdiction thinking that you're a common man, you're not. And as soon as he asks your name, he drags you into that system. So you don't go into court. But what you have to do is you have to understand affidavits of fact. You have to understand a lot of the other affidavits. You have to understand the trusts and the flipping of trusts within the court system. You have to understand the signature of yourself and what it represents. You have to understand a lot of the other affidavits. You have to understand the trusts and the flipping of trusts within the court system. You have to understand the signature of yourself and what it represents. What we do is we correspond by mail. We write up a notice of liability. And the notice of liability is a notice of fact. So if you've got the facts and you write the facts down, that becomes a sworn affidavit of what you have said and what you've put to paper, and that becomes part of the NOL. The NOL also has other instruments that you use. It's called a fee schedule. So the fee schedule is, if you want to partake, if you want to drag me into the participation of your system, well, you're gonna pay me for it. And so what we do is, within that realm, what we started to understand this has been 30 years of people trying to figure this stuff out. It's coming to light, it's working, because it's all about money. That's the bottom line. So when you want to converse with me, guess what? I have to charge you $500 an hour of my time. And it all depends on the situation. It could be $1,000 an hour. It could be $200. Also, in the notice of liability, we also have a clause in a notice of liability that says if you want to hire a lawyer to represent you, our price is over $1 million. And you might think that's a little bit ridiculous, Bill. Come on, $1 million? I want you to think about the process. What do we see here and over here with the process? The process is dealt with in a slow manner. The process is, well, I've got this information. We need a recess. We need more information. The next court date. So the lawyer has to be hired again. And it's a continual process of a spinning wheel. Why wouldn't it be $1 million? You don't know how long it's going to take for them to finally accomplish the task at hand. So you put that in your notice of liability. You put it up front. This is what I want. And the whole reason by doing that is now you are communicating with the individual that has either caused you harm or you're wanting to explain yourself as a human being, not as a fiction. That's the avenue that we're going with. So the notice of liability, as I said, it presents a timeline. And if there's no correspondence, now we look at the law itself again. There's a law that says within 72 hours you have to communicate with the person back and forth, and then the next step is 30 days. And then after 30 days, it's basically a wash. If they don't correspond with you, that is a name and a word by law called in default. The person doesn't want to communicate with you because he's in default. That's an automatic win. Does that mean you might get the $1,000? It doesn't matter, because at that point in time, it's defaulted, and every second on the clock, you are allowed by law to charge them every day they don't correspond. And when you do finally bring it into the court system, it's a slam dunk. So keep that in mind. But you have to understand the law process. You have to understand the forms that you're filling out. I belong to some groups that have done this. They're very, very good at doing what they do. They've got all kinds of other things. The next step, what happens if this default carries further? By law, it's called a lien. You can go down to the land titles and find out what piece of property that individual owns. Now you place a lien on it, and that lien, once you've placed on it, you are the only one that can take that lien off. Now what you've done is frozen their assets. If they want to borrow money, that asset is frozen. They are dead in the water. These are all lawful means that the law uses. We have been complacent. Could you imagine if we understood what we understood? What I'm proposing here, I have written a letter to all the MPs that represent Manitoba in the federal government, and I sent this letter to every MLA in that building.
Yes.
The Justice Minister and everything else. So all I did is I took the first page. I'm not great with computers. I don't have a blog. I don't have a website, whatever. That's for the younger people that know this stuff. But what I got 20 copies here. It's the first page of my letter to them. There's my email. If you want to email me and read the other 8 pages, you go right ahead. The front page is the skin of a snake, and on one side is a snake, and on the other side is a white wing. And I'll let you interpret that. These people understand symbolism, and so do I.
Yes. Yes.
So that's one aspect of it. They're going to be liable. There's the word, liable.
Yep. Yep.
So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I got 20 copies here. It's the first page. It gives you an understanding of the context of the rest of the letter. You can email me, and I'll send it to you.
Thank you,
There's 20
Bill.
pages here. Whoever wants a page, they're more than welcome to grab one.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
That's what courage looks like.